Now, I love New York, but I don't know why anybody so cold would want to shoot in New York City. It's just freezing. And it's a beautiful city. And there are all these beautiful buildings. And I love the yellow cabs. Let me see. Nope, nothing in there. There's nothing in there. Maybe because this is all really Hollywood. Maybe because this is the magic of Hollywood. Maybe because this is not a real mailbox, even though it looks like it. There are no newspapers in there, even though they look like they should be. And keep coming with me. I'll show you the real fun behind the scenes. This is what Joe's Hollywood is really about. Come on. Here it is. This was all made so people didn't have to leave not just Los Angeles, but the Fox lot. And Hello Dolly with Barbra Streisand, it was built purposely for her. And this is what movie magic is made of. There have been lots of other TV series shot here, from NYPD Blue to Bones to How I Met Your Mother. Hey, to Bruno Mars' latest video. But look, this is the back of it all. It's no real homes. Those will be shot in other studios, in other sound stages. But keep coming with me. By the way, it's not really cold at all. Here we are. Have a good evening.
Jill's on you.
The CEOs of the 30s, 40s, and 50s were called moguls, and they were part of the Hollywood dream. But just like the actors, directors, and producers, many of them came from other parts of the world. Just like the Skouros brothers came from Greece. In the black and white days, we had the Skouros brothers. Today, we have Jim Giannopoulos, also a Greek. So I'm here with Jim Giannopoulos, chairman of 20th Century Fox. From one Greek to another, just like we said. Jim, you're taking over where Skouros left off.
Well, many years ago. Spyros Skouros was a legend, and of course, big difference. Of course, he was an owner of the studio. I just work here, but Mr. Skouros was here for many years. He presided over the studio at a time when television had just begun, and many of the studios were under a lot of difficult times. People had stayed home and stopped going to the movies, and one of the things that he did was he went to Switzerland, found this guy who had invented this process called CinemaScope, and invested at that time what today would have been about $300 million in fitting all the theaters that Fox owned with CinemaScope. So he was very bold, and I think it's a heritage that we continue today to remember that it's about great movies, but it's also about making sure that we stay in front of new technologies and new ways that we bring those movies to audiences and keep them satisfied.
And you did that believing in and trusting in and championing from the very beginning James Cameron, not only with Titanic, but with the special effects and the costs of Avatar.
Right. Well, yeah, I get a lot of credit for Avatar, but you know, the way I saw it, we made Titanic together, of course, and I've known Jim for a long time, and we've made a lot of good films together. But when it came time to do Avatar, which was very ambitious, you know, they were 11-foot blue people with tails. And so it seems obvious now, but then it was a pretty difficult decision, especially because of the cost and the technology. But when I looked back on it, I realized that the decision came down to, do you want to be the person who said no to the film that James Cameron wanted to make after Titanic? Or, do you want to be the person who said yes and took that chance?
Well, gambling not just with your heart, but with your brain. You did what Spiros did. I mean, really.
Well, you can't make great movies without taking chances. I give great credit to Mr. Murdoch, because if you don't take risk, you're going to make ordinary movies, and they're going to be boring. So, we take risks.
Stanotte alle 4:30 i nostri satelliti hanno rilevato una tempesta in avvicinamento su Marte nella zona della missione Ares.
So what do you see as the future now?
Well, virtual reality is a new technology. It's an immersive technology. It's just at the beginning, and it allows a 360-degree immersive world. Working with Ridley Scott, we did the first virtual reality in the point of view of Matt Damon on Mars. It's an extraordinary experience.
30 nominations.
Yeah,
for
this was a
year's
good year.
Oscars.
This was a good year. Last year was a good year, but this was exceptional. And it also reflects, again, going back to the quality of the executives here. I mean, every single division was reflected. The Martian, which is Emma Watts, which is the main 20th Century Fox division. The Revenant, of course, which is with our partners at New Regency. Joy, Jen Lawrence's nomination, which is Elizabeth Gabler. Youth, with Paolo Sorrentino's film, which is Searchlight. Brooklyn, which is also Searchlight. I think it is a reflection of the great talent of our filmmakers and the executives here, and the diversity also of our film slate.
Let's try to find out some secrets at Fox Studios.
In the commissary, in the back part of the commissary, there's a room that's called the Shirley Temple Room. And it's a little private room, so when we have guests, I think it seats about maybe 20 people. It has pictures of Shirley all over the walls. And it's called the Shirley Temple Room because that was her nursery when she worked here on the lot. And she used to have the toys and all of that stuff because she was just a tiny, she was 5, 6, 7 years old. So when we created a daycare facility here, we named it the Shirley Temple Daycare Facility. And at that time, she was Shirley Temple Black and, an older woman. And she came to cut the ribbon for the daycare facility. And Mr. Murdoch met her and accompanied her to where the daycare facility was. And he said to her, we still have this room that's named for you, which was your nursery. Would you like to see it? And she said, no, I hated that place. That was awful. They used to hide me there. I used to have to sit there. So it's okay, no, it's okay, it's fine. No, we won't go, fine.
I want to ask about your experience with Mille Miglia in Italy, which you try to do every year religiously. I know.
I don't. Well, I don't know. I would like to do every year, but I can't.
Which you've done with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel said, yeah, that sounds great. Now that sounds great. I never thought he would actually do it. And then he did. And we tried to keep a low profile, but, it was Italy. And so the paparazzi started, But people were respectful, and we had a great time.
You are the sole CEO of Hollywood that has given more executive jobs to women than any other in the history of Hollywood. Do you realize that?
Yeah, but that's just because they're the best at what they do. I enjoy working with them because, they're extremely talented and they're fantastic executives. And so, yeah, but yeah, and it so happened to be that way. But I'm happy to have them because I get to take credit for their incredible work, and we've been together a long time, and they're wonderful people.
I called a producer recently to interview him. You're calling him on my home personal line. Can you call the office and get an appointment?
I decided a long time ago that the reason they call it a chairman is because you're sitting in the chair. And somebody sat in the chair before you, and somebody's going to sit in the chair after you. And while you're sitting in that chair, that's a privilege.
We leave Fox Studios to go visit a producer. Actually, Producer of the Year, as Hollywood Reporter eloquently writes on its cover. He's John Davis. I loved your movie Joy. David O. Russell. I love David O. Russell's work. I love your work.
Thank you.
I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, I think, is amazing, and she deserves an Academy Award for me, hands down.
By the way, literally one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. Down to earth, hardworking, basically shows up every day, prepared, ready to go to work, excited to go to work, and likes to work all the time.
And your career has been going on for how many years?
I think about 30, right? Yeah, maybe longer.
How many movies have you made? I think about 100?
I'm at 98 or 99, but I have 99 and 100 kind of ready to go. Yes.
Can you tell us through your stories, make us love the movie business through your stories, the behind the scenes, the people that really make it work?
The great thing about being in this business, you collect stories you can tell for the rest of your life. I made 4 movies with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, and I loved them. And I had grown up watching The Fortune Cookie and The Odd Couple, and so to be able to come out, you know, kid from Colorado, because I grew up in a small city basically. Denver was very small at the time, and we were overly infatuated with movie stars because there wasn't a lot to do in the winter other than go to the movie theaters. And to be able to come out here and work with my childhood kind of heroes and all that stuff was amazing. I became very close with Walter. And I was doing Grumpy 2, and I wanted to put Sophia Loren in the movie. And I went to visit Sophia Loren, and she was magnificent. And she was wearing a red silk dress, and she was backlit by the light coming through the window at her house in Calabasas. And she wasn't sure she wanted to do the movie, and wasn't sure she wanted to work with Walter. So I made her a deal. I talked her into flying to New York with me, at least meeting Walter and discussing working together in the part. I called up Walter, and I said, don't mess this up. I'm bringing her out here. He goes, I've been dealing with actresses my entire life. Don't tell me what to do, right? In a loving, but a little bit pissed way. I said, don't screw this up. I said, we need her for the movie. It'll be great. I fly with her out to New York. We go to the Carlisle Hotel. Walter's waiting for us for lunch. I walk in, and he's dressed like a vagrant. He's shooting a movie there. I'm going like, okay, this isn't good. She looks beautiful. He looks like he's a bum, right? And I'm just holding my breath. We walk over to the table. I say, Walter, why don't you meet Sophia? He pops up and goes, Sophia, nice to meet you. I'd like to eat you. And she looked at him for a moment, didn't respond, and then she started giggling like you're giggling. And within 3 minutes, I knew she was doing the movie. And they became best friends, and they would giggle on the set all the time, and she would make him pasta, and it was great. It was kind of like spring love.
That's a wonderful story.
So, you know, it's to me, it's more than a business. It's a lifestyle, and it's a great lifestyle.
And who inspired you in all this? Whether it's an actor, a director, or another producer from the 30s, 40s, 50s, someone.
When I first came to town, there were 2 great filmmakers I wanted to meet, and I tracked them down. One was George Lucas, and one was Frank Capra. 2 of my favorite filmmakers, right? So I tracked down Frank Capra, and he's in Bailey, California, and he's fishing. Gives me the day. I hang out with him, and it's very inspirational. And then I went to see George Lucas, and we sat on the floor of his office. It was you know, up near San Francisco, right in the Mill Valley, or you know, Atherton or somewhere up around there. And he said, "Those guys in Hollywood, you can't trust them. Stay away from them." He goes, "They'll screw you." Right, and so those are the 2 perspectives I got, and they were both interesting.
Did you take a little from both?
No, I took more from Frank Capra.
Because you are part of Hollywood,
Right?
and yet your offices are not Hollywood. And blew away all the Italians when I said, this is his office.
There's a fireplace.
It's a home.
There's a beautiful porch outside. This used to be the Southern Comfort Liquor headquarters. And if you look on the bottle of Southern Comfort, you'll see this house. It's disarming and it's relaxing and it's not, over the top, and it's and there's a warmth in this office and in this suite of offices that I think it's helped us in the creative process.
Which movie was that?
The women, and by the way, I want to make more female appealing movies because I have 2 daughters, and you start to understand what women deal with in this business, in this country, when you're able to have the unique perspective of your daughters to help you understand it, to break down, your misconceptions, to see the pressures in their life, to see, it's not an equal world in this country. And so I've become a lot more interested in making movies about women.
Yet the history of cinema, even black and white movies, is interwoven with the history of its great stars. And fashion was the essential key in creating the Hollywood star system. We'll discover that next time in Joe's Hollywood.